How y'all doing? Okay. Let's just jump right in. So during this time, I was working at a pet store. I was very late in getting my driver's license. I was very late in learning how to drive and all that. So I won't say it was one day or overnight, but I just got so sick of waiting for rides and asking for rides, and so I decided that I needed to get my own license. I graduated by the time it was time to get my license, so I didn't have to go through a whole bunch of driver's ed courses and get verification of enrollment in school and all that. I got to bypass that. So I just went to the driver's license office and told them I wanted to get a license. They explained to me what I needed and what I had to do and all that, and I had to take a driver's test from the driver's license office. And you know, this is happening over like a couple weeks. I turned to so many different people to use their car to take the driver's test, because the driver's license office doesn't provide you cars like a driving school. So I tried to use my sister's car, but she had too many problems with it. Like something wrong with the speedometer wasn't working. It was inaccurate. It would say she was going like 45. It would say she was going 90. We couldn't use her car because she had to get it fixed. And then I asked to use another woman's car who I've known since I was a baby, and she said no because her insurance suggested that she didn't. So one of the girls, there was a girl who came in she worked with one of the shelters that the store was with. She came in to feed the little cats that were up for adoption. So I was telling her about it because we always talked, and you know, she was in there so much, so we just started talking. And then she volunteered her car. She told me I could use her car. She had a Nissan Altima. It's a very nice car. She told me I could use her car. And that was so nice of her, because I really didn't know her. But that was really nice of her, and I'll never forget that. So I used her car. I went with my mother to the driver's license office to take the test. How they graded it was, you get 31 or more deductions, you fail. So I had gotten 28 deductions, but I passed. Yes. Took my picture and everything. I hate that driver's license picture. And they gave me the little temporary license like everybody gets. Before this, I had been saving for like a year to go to a school called Academy of Art University. It's in San Francisco. I've been on the phone with the admissions girl. I had been saving up some money, so it had been like, I want to say $900, $1,000 that I'd saved up over a year from working in cash. Kept it in an envelope in my room. But somewhere the math went wrong. Even with the money I saved in the grants, I still would have been short like $7,000. And who got it? Because I don't. California, that Academy of Art University was a no-go. So I decided that since I'm getting a license that I should, you know, have a car. So I was looking on Craigslist for cars. I was looking for some good cheap cars, which don't exist usually. I found a listing for a 1999 Saturn 3-door, some numbers and letters for the model, I don't remember what it was. I wanted to go see the car. So I called them on the number that they left on the listing, and so we got in touch and we set up a meeting time. My sister took me over there to go look at it. Knocked on the door, they gave me the keys, we looked in the car. I was more excited than critical, because I was just excited at the thought of having a car, you know, because I had been having to ride the bus and get rides from people and walk. I was sick of that. So I took it for a test drive, and I had to get somewhere that I could, because I was looking at YouTube videos that told me what I should look for when I'm buying a new car. So I took it down to the more open road, and I sped a little, and it drove fine. So I drove it back to their house. I was trying to ask all the questions that I saw in the YouTube videos about what I should be asking, what would the owner know, all that. Then we made a deal. The listing was for $1,700. I gave them all of the money from that California fund, and I wiped out the rest of my bank account, which was like about like $600. So I paid them, I thought I had 17, but I only had 16. They took it. They didn't care about the extra 100. Then the car was mine. So then after I gave them the money, they told me, they showed me the title, and they told me that they didn't get the title signed over from the guy that they bought it from. And I was like, okay, I was smiling, I was, okay. Like I wanted to get it over because I just wanted to take the car. I was too excited. I think it was the water pump that they told me something was wrong, but if I just got something... No, it wasn't. So they gave me the title, they gave me the keys, I bought the car from them for $1,600. I drove it away. I had forgotten that the little temporary license that you get from the driver's license office. So I was following my sister back home on the freeway. I didn't have a license. The car was brand new, so I was assuming that if I got stopped by a cop, I could just explain the situation, and maybe they would. Although this day and age, you never know, But anyway, I was happy with my little car. Now, one thing I had to do because the previous owners didn't get the title signed over from the guy that they bought it from. What I had to get was something called a bonded title, which involved me going to the courthouse every 30 days to get a temporary license plate, which is a piece of paper that you have to put in the window, so the cops see that instead of the expired plates. So, I did that. The first 30 days or the first couple days I had it, they said I had to get it. I think the legalities were it had to be within like a week. And I had to get the little paper. And the bonded title involved something about a notary public and something that has to sign something. Well, just in trouble. Red flag number 1, it was $1,700 on Craigslist. Red flag number 2, bonded title. So I had to do this every 30 days. Because it's only good for 30 days, the little temporary tags. And that was like $100 every 30 days that I was having to pay to get that done at the courthouse. So it came up to some money. Somebody else said I had to track the man down that owned the car before they bought it. I had to track him down and get him to sign the title over, which I tried to do. I couldn't, with basic Google searches, I couldn't find him. All this time, I was working at the pet store, I was going to work, people saw my new car, they said, it's nice. And it's a very small car, and I'm not a very small person. I felt like Mr. Incredible. This one day, it was around the second month. Remember, my timelines are always off, so don't take it as gospel. But around the second month, I was on my way to work at the pet store, and I was driving through the parking lot, and I was listening to the radio, because I can't drive without music. So, I drove through the parking lot. There's always empty spaces towards the end of the parking lot. But in this parking lot, they had these, those cement bumpers that stop the cars from going. They had those, and it was only 2 in front, 2 towards the middle, with the sign in between them that says, guard your valuables, lock your car, take your stuff with you. So I was jamming out. Well, it was the radio, so there was nothing else to listen to. So it was Demi Lovato on the radio. Either give your heart a break or a heart attack. I wasn't looking where I was going because the parking lot's supposed to be clear. There was no cars, so I was jamming out. I was looking out this window. I was so excited to have my car. I was feeling myself. I was looking out this window. I was looking out that window. I wasn't even looking ahead of me. So I ran over one of those cement bumpers, and I ran over the sign. So I'm driving, and and the car stopped, and I was like this. I'm wondering, what did I just hit? So I put the car in reverse and backed it up. I assumed nothing was wrong. So I drove to my parking spot, and I went into work, and it was a normal day. After a while of driving the car, I noticed that the oil light was on. I thought nothing of it. I really didn't. I didn't think anything of it. Maybe a day or two later, I took the car to the nearest Walmart, and I got an oil change. So they didn't say anything, because Walmart employees don't care about life. So they did my oil change, I paid for it, and I left, no problems. But the oil light would still come on. I still thought nothing of it. I thought it was like a glitch or something in the computer system or whatever's in the car. So, because I didn't know anything about cars, I still don't. August 1st, when I bought the car, and one of my coworkers, who was one of the lower level managers at the pet store, he was looking for a roommate. So I was like, I have a car. Maybe that's the next step, is getting my own place. And around October, November, we started to, it was in the same complex he was living in, but it was like a 2-room apartment. It was a 2-story townhouse, a very nice apartment. The lease was a 13-month lease. So the beginning of December 12 through the end of December 13. So, got the apartment, I got all my stuff moved, I moved all my own stuff. It took me a good 6 to 8 trips to get all of my things and the cat and take it to the new apartment. But he had an SUV, so he let me put my mattress in his car. And then all my stuff was moved. No major issues with the car. Moved in, and where I moved to was 16 miles from where I was moving from. So it was a huge distance. I just wanted freedom, I guess. I don't know why I moved that far away. Now I'm living in my own apartment, having no problems with the car. So this is around somewhere in December. I needed to get an oil change again, because I was getting it every 3 months. So I went to Meineke and tried to get an oil change. The guy said that they couldn't do an oil change because there was a hole in the oil pan, he said. And I was like, what is an oil pan? I don't know what that is, because I don't know cars, and I didn't know cars. You know, there were several things wrong with this car, but I thought everything under the hood was fine, because I looked under the hood like they said to do in the YouTube videos. I thought it was fine. I had no choice but to keep driving the car, because I now lived about 16 miles away from home, and I had to get to work to pay that rent. Another light came on. It was the coolant light or something like that, because there was a leak in the little plastic thing that you put coolant in. There was a leak in there, so the coolant wouldn't stay in the car. So one thing I had to do was I had to keep buying coolant, and I had to keep filling it up. Same thing with the oil too. I had to buy oil and I had to buy coolant, and I had to keep pouring those in every time I got in my car to go somewhere. That's what I had to do, so the car wouldn't blow up. I told my roommate about it, and we talked about it. I told him about it, and he suggested that we try to fix it. So I took my car to his parents' house, and because they had all the tools and they had the driveway. I looked it up on YouTube extensively. So there was something to fix the coolant, fix the water. See, I don't even know what I'm doing right now. To fix the water pump and the coolant thingy, you have to take the wheel off, and you have to put a new gasket and oil or something. You have to fix it. Somebody will know. But that's what we tried to do. So we took off my wheel, and we worked together, and we started fixing the car. So it took a good 4 or more hours. So we did the best we could. We really did. We thought we got it. I bought a new water pump to put in. So we finished. After we put the new water pump on, we put new coolant in, because that's what you're not supposed to put a new pump in with old coolant, is what I saw in a YouTube video. After we put the new coolant in, I went over and started the car with the hood up, and when I started the car, a steady stream of green liquid was shooting out like a water fountain. The shooting out of the water pump. And I was like, I think we did the opposite of fix it. So then turned the car off. I had to get it professionally fixed. So I had to look into that. I had to see how much it would cost and all that. But I still drove it. So I kept putting coolant in to keep the light off. So that means before I went to work and after I left work, I was putting coolant in the car. And I was trying my best. The car was struggling. So the one fateful day, when I was on the freeway and I was on my way to work, the car was running just fine. I had put coolant in it. Got in my car, I drove, and I got on the freeway, And not even halfway there, maybe a third of the way there, I had my foot, like, I had the gas pedal floored. Like, I was touching the floor, but my car was only doing 70. So, and the part of the freeway I was on was an incline. I was trying to go up, I was trying to fight the incline, I felt something, it was struggling. And then I felt like a jerk like that, right? I was wondering what was going on, and I was scared. And then smoke had come out of the steering column, and I thought the car was going to blow up. So I was panicking. I didn't know what to do. So I don't know if this would be instinct, but common sense told me pull the car over. So I pulled it over onto the shoulder of the freeway. I turned my hazards on. Of course, it looked like a blinker because the left back blink light didn't work. So it looked like a blinker instead of two hazards. I was pulled over. I didn't know what to do. I was panicking. I didn't know if I should get out of the car. I didn't know what to do. So I got on my phone and I called work. Really just to tell them that I would be late. I called and said, can I talk to a manager? And my roommate was there at work, so he was the one that answered the phone. And I was panicking. I was like, I almost said his name. I'm on the freeway, my car blew up, I don't know what to do. And he was like, calm down, calm down. Don't tell me to calm down. He hung up and he called his parents. Or he called me back and then told me, my mom's on the way. So I was sitting there for maybe 20 more minutes, 30 more minutes. Yeah, his mom came in her minivan and she brought a tow truck. So I got out of the car on the shoulder on the freeway. I'm on foot on the freeway. And I got in the car. She gave me a ride to work. That's where I had to be because I still had a rent to pay. So she took me to work. So that night I had to get a ride from the roommate to get back to the apartment. But maybe the next day, his mom picked me up. She took me to the mechanic shop that the tow truck had taken my car to because it was the mechanic they used, a dude named Ray. So we went in, and then she said, I had this car dropped off here yesterday, and I wanted to know, what is it looking like? And so he told me that the engine was bound up because there was no oil in it. So the engine was completely dead, the car was gone. So I bought the car in August, and this happened in January. So he was going to sell the car to a junker. He would sell it for $300, and he kept $50 as a fee. His mom and dad were talking about possibly helping me buy another car. They would buy it, and I would pay him back over a period of time. That never happened. It was very nice of him. So my car was dead. That was the last I saw of my car. I got all my stuff out, and that was the last. Well, that was the last time I saw him. I had my roommate take me back the next day because I had left a CD in the CD player, so I had to go back and get that. But after that, that was the last time I saw the car. And then it was back to riding the bus and bumming rides, paying people for rides as I had to. It was like, I would pay one dude $20 a week for a ride, and I would pay another girl $5 per ride. Like, it was expensive. It just sucked. So that's why I'm so thankful now for the car that I have. It works, and the slightest bump or knock, we go straight to the mechanic this time. When you go buy a car, take a mechanic with you, or even better, be a mechanic. So, lesson learned. But I really did love that car. So, that's all I got. Love, peace, and cook your meat.